So, picture this. Back in late 2019, early 2020, astronomers found this thing. They called it C2019Y4 Atlas. Later it got a new name, 3I/Atlas. It was a comet. A big, dirty snowball hurtling through space. And honestly, nobody gave a damn. Just another blip on the cosmic radar. Scientists get excited about these things all the time. They point giant telescopes, they scribble notes, they publish papers maybe 10 people read. For the rest of us, it was background noise. Less interesting than dinner that night. It didn't register on the scale of things to worry about. Why the collective shrug? Because we've been here before, 1,000,000 times. This one's coming close, they say. Then it sails on by 1,000,000 miles away. Life goes on. So what was this thing? Let's break it down, man. Imagine you've got a giant snowball, but it's not made of clean, fresh snow. It's dirty, it's packed with dust, rocks, frozen gases. From the beginning of the solar system, like billions of years ago, it's a time capsule. This snowball lives way, way out there in a place called the Oort cloud, a giant sphere of icy junk surrounding our solar system. Every once in a while, something gives one of these snowballs a nudge. It starts falling toward the sun. That's a comet. As it gets closer to the sun, it heats up. The ice turns to gas and creates a huge glowing cloud, a coma. That's the fuzzy head of the comet you see. The 3I part of its name is important. The I stands for interstellar. It means this thing wasn't from around here. It wasn't part of our sun's family of planets and asteroids. It came from another star system, a traveler from some distant unknown place. It was only the second interstellar object we'd confirmed at the time, right after that weird cigar-shaped thing, Oumuamua. So that made it special to scientists. Let's be real about why nobody cared. Our world is loud. It's a constant barrage of information, a fire hose of headlines and notifications hitting you in the face every second. You've got your job, your bills, the political circus, what's happening on social media. Your brain can only handle so much. So when a scientist comes along and says, "Hey, look at this faint fuzzy dot in the sky that's 100 million miles away," your brain just files that information directly into the trash. It's a survival mechanism. You have to filter out what doesn't seem to immediately threaten you or benefit you. And a distant comet? Doesn't affect me. The experts didn't help either. They talk in a language that's designed for other experts. It's precise, it's technical, but it's not exciting. It doesn't connect with you on a gut level. They told us it was a ball of frozen ammonia methane water ice. Okay, cool. But what does that mean? Then it happened. It was a Thursday. I had this astrophysicist on the podcast, a guy who's been on before. He's not one of those mainstream TV scientists. He's a real deal, hardcore researcher, a guy who spends his life buried in data that most people would find mind-numbing. We were just chopping it up, talking about black holes, dark matter, the usual wild stuff. The conversation was winding down. We were about 2.5 hours in, and then I just casually asked him if there was anything new and weird on his radar, anything that the public might have missed. And he got this strange look on his face. He paused for a second. You could see him debating whether or not he should even go there.
You know that comet 3I Atlas?
The one that broke up a few years back? And I was like, yeah, vaguely. The interstellar one that fizzled out, right? And he just nodded slowly. He said that after the comet disintegrated, a few independent research groups, including his own, kept listening. They didn't just stop watching when the visual show was over. They kept their radio telescopes pointed at the debris cloud, the trail of dust and gas the comet left behind, just to see what kind of background radiation it was emitting. Standard procedure, apparently. He leaned into the mic and the whole mood in the room shifted. It got real quiet. He said that for months it was just static, the normal hiss of the cosmos. But then they started picking something up. It was a signal. So what was this bombshell? The big reveal wasn't just that there was a signal, not a simple beep, beep, beep like Sputnik. A complex burst of information layered with mathematical patterns. More like a data packet than a simple hello. A structured wide-band transmission containing prime numbers, geometric sequences. A message that screamed, "This is not natural." A deliberate calling card designed to be recognized as intelligent by any civilization that knew mathematics. This flipped the script on 3I/Atlas. We thought it was a dead rock, a failed comet, a boring, dirty snowball. This painted a totally different picture. The comet wasn't the message. The comet was the delivery system. Think about it. Brilliant. Send a probe to another star system. It will take thousands, maybe millions of years. How do you protect it? Hide it in something space is full of a comet. So, what was in the signal? That's the billion-dollar question, right? According to my guest, the signal itself wasn't a "Hello, we are here" message in English. It was much more fundamental than that. It was primarily a mathematical and physical lexicon. It started with the basics. Prime numbers, the value of pi, the Fibonacci sequence. It was a tutorial. It was laying down a common language, a universal translator based on the laws of the universe. The idea is that any species capable of building a radio telescope would understand math and physics. It's the one thing we'd all have in common. After establishing this mathematical baseline, the signal allegedly began transmitting more complex information. My guest said it appeared to be a massive data dump, but a compressed one. Think of it like a cosmic zip file. The signal contained what looked like diagrams of chemical elements, star charts, molecular structure of complex organic compounds. It was a scientific encyclopedia. It was like they were sending us the Cliff's Notes to the universe. It wasn't a conversation. It was a lecture. A one-way information blast. The most chilling part, though, was what the signal contained. No art, no music, no philosophy, no hint of their culture or what they looked like. The fallout from that podcast was immediate and insane. It was like a switch was flipped. One day, 3i/Atlas was a forgotten footnote. The next, it was the only thing anyone was talking about. Every news channel, every website, every social media platform was flooded. The term 3i/Atlas was trending #1 worldwide for weeks. People who had never even looked at the night sky were suddenly experts in radio astronomy and interstellar objects. It was a global obsession. The story had everything. Aliens, secret signals, advanced technology. It was a sci-fi movie come to life. This new reality had a direct impact on regular people. Suddenly, there was a run on telescopes. You couldn't buy one. Stores were sold out. Websites were back-ordered for months. People were setting them up on their rooftops and in their backyards, pointing them at the sky, hoping to see what? Nobody knew. But they had to look. There was this collective feeling that we had been blind, and now we needed to see. So, here we are. The dust has settled a bit, but things are not the same. The signal from 3i/Atlas is now an accepted, if not fully understood, phenomenon. The world is still trying to process it. But the biggest takeaway for me, the thing that really sticks with me, is not about aliens or advanced technology. It's about us. It's about our attention. It's about what we choose to look at, and more importantly, what we choose to ignore. This massive, world-changing event happened, and we almost missed it completely because it started out quiet. It started out looking boring. It forces you to ask a really uncomfortable question. What else are we missing right now? What other boring comets or uninteresting data points are being ignored by the mainstream? What quiet revolutions are happening in labs and observatories that we won't hear about until they're screaming in our faces? We live in a culture of noise, a culture that rewards the loudest voice and the most sensational headline. We're addicted to the sugar rush of breaking news and hot takes. But maybe the most important truths aren't loud. Maybe they're subtle. Maybe they're hidden in the static. This whole thing is a wake-up call. This whole thing is a wake-up call. It's a challenge to all of us to change how we consume information. It's a call to fight against the mental fatigue that makes us dismiss things that seem too complex or too slow. We need to cultivate a sense of curiosity about the things that don't immediately gratify us. We need to listen to the quiet experts, the ones who aren't flashy or great on camera, but who have dedicated their lives to understanding a tiny piece of the universe. They're the sentinels, the ones watching the walls while the rest of us are busy arguing in the town square. So the next time you see a headline about some obscure scientific discovery, some distant star or some weird anomaly in the data, maybe don't just scroll past it. Pause for a second. Ask yourself, what if this is the beginning of something? What if this is the faint, fuzzy dot that turns out to be the most important story of our lifetime? The universe is under no obligation to make sense to us, and it's certainly under no obligation to be entertaining. The truth is out there, but it doesn't always announce itself with trumpets. Sometimes it arrives disguised as a boring, dirty snowball that nobody cares about. Look closer.